Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you, our dear viewers of MTA Africa. Welcome to this program, and this is Health Check. Today, we are going to look at cervical cancer. And according to the reports we have, it is estimated that over 140 women are diagnosed with cancer or cervical cancer every year, and about 4,000 women die of cervical cancer. I know if you have been diagnosed with cervical cancer, you might be worried. Today, we are going to discuss about cervical cancer, and I am Nahoho Rashid Matselede, your host. With me in the studios, I have Dr. Akaturinda Baker from Life Embassy Hospital with us here. You are welcome to this program, Doctor.
Thank you, sir.
You can say, greet the viewers.
Thank you. Yes, our viewers, like they have said, I'm Dr. Baker Akaturinda from Life Embassy Medical Center on Mawanda Road, just after Shell Kalerwe.
Thank you very much. Doctor, we are talking about cervical cancer.
Yeah.
What is cervical cancer?
Well, in brief, cervical cancer is cancer of the cervix. Cancer arising from the cervix. It only affects women because it is cancer of the cervix. Yes.
Okay, thank you much. Why should one worry about cancer of the cervix?
Yes, thank you so much. Very, very, very deadly. In fact, like in Uganda, it is the leading killer cancer in women. You have heard of other cancers, cancer of the uterus, cancer of the breast, cancer of the lungs, very many cancers. But in our women, especially in Uganda, it is the leading killer. So it has the highest number of of cases in Uganda. So it is on the rise.
So what are some of the causes of cervical cancer?
Yes, thank you. What causes cervical cancer is a medical term called HPV, human papilloma virus. That is what causes cervical cancer. But like we explain causes of diseases, we say a cause and risk factors. What exposes people to getting it? What should people avoid to getting it? So most of the risk factors is multiple sexual partners. When a person has multiple sexual partners, you cannot be sure whether Y, X, or Z if none of them has this HPV, human papilloma virus. Now, if one of those partners has, it means these ones will get it. So a person with multiple sexual partners is at high risk of getting this cancer of the cervix. Another point is immunosuppression. In medical, we call it immunosuppression, but I will break it for our viewers to understand. Immunosuppression means having low immunity. And the leading cause of low immunity is HIV/AIDS. So people who live with HIV/AIDS are at a high risk of getting this cervical cancer because the immunity is low. And like you know, when a person is immune, the immunity is the body's ability to fight diseases. It's actually the UPDF. It is the forces, the army of the body. Now, if your army of the body are weak, then definitely any rebel enemy who will come, it will be easy for him to enter. Now, this viruses enjoy or thrive in low immunity. Like you are aware, even in countries, rebels, they attack country which has a low power base, a low military base. You cannot just wake up today and go and attack US. You'll be finished. So even in this case, in our bodies work like a full country. They have soldiers, they have what? No, so the body soldiers, when they are low, when they are down, especially caused by HIV/AIDS, this HPV, human papilloma virus, which causes cervical cancer, it can easily affect a person. So immunosuppression is also a point. I also hint on this, smoking. Our people who smoke, they have a high chance of increasing this cervical cancer. Maybe to hint on this a bit, the word cancer means the cells of the body growing abnormally. In the cervix, the cells there, when they grow abnormally, is what you call cervical cancer. Now, in the smoke, in the tobacco, which people smoke, those who smoke, it has a content called nicotine, which activates those cells to grow abnormally. Therefore, making smoking one of the risk factors. Those who smoke are at a high risk of getting this cancer of the cervix. Then also maybe, to hint on this also, the family history. If, say, your mother died of cancer of the cervix, or not you, a person's mother died of cancer of the cervix, that person has a high risk of also developing it because it moves in families, the family.
So we can say it has a behavior of, it is hereditary.
Hereditary, yes. But like we said, it is not only one factor. These diseases, especially cancers, they come as a combination of many factors. So it's not a must that if a person's mother had cancer, she will get cancer of the cervix. No. But she's at a risk of developing it if in the family line the cancer of the cervix is there. Then also another important point, and this I will face our viewers and tell you, dear viewers, early onset of sexual activities. This is very, very dangerous. A girl is 12 years, 13 years, and she has already begun sexual activity from 13 years. It is really very dangerous. And you'll be exposing yourself to high chances of getting cancer of the cervix. Much as we don't recommend people to get married very late, in medical is also bad, but still we don't encourage early sexual activities. It is very bad. Living on not only the morals of society as Africans, but also medically speaking, if you engage in sexual activities early, you are endangering yourself. So, Mr. Moderator, it is very, very important that our girls, our ladies, should learn it not to engage in sexual activities at an early age. It has been proven to be one of the risk factors to this cancer of the cervix.
Doctor, you've talked about a number of issues.
Yes,
how about, there are people who believe that even certain contraceptive methods can also be a cause of cervical cancer. For example, the use of condoms and the other contraceptive pills. Does it have some related cause to cervical cancer?
Well, I cannot state and say use of condoms causes cervical cancer. We don't have a researched report indicating that. However, it has been researched and found out that prolonged use of birth control pills, especially those birth control pills, can cause cancer of the cervix. Reason being that they work by altering the hormones to prevent pregnancy.
The prolonged use.
Yeah. Now, I'm explaining that prolonged use, you can imagine, like I was explaining, you see, Mr. Moderator, these things, they run like a ring, a chain. A girl has begun sex at 13 years and has begun using those pills at 13 years, 14 years you're using pills, 15 years you're using pills, so you're altering hormones. Remember at 13, 14, they had hormones, the girl is in adolescence. Now she's using pills. 16 years using pills. By 20 years using pills. By the time she gets married at 30 or 28, it has definitely, even our common sense can tell us that all of this prolonged use of these pills can make something wrong in the body. So research has shown that even the prolonged use of those contraceptives can predispose a person to cervical cancer. Like I said, not only one causes cancer, but there are very many risk factors which expose a person to being at a risk of developing it.
Thank you very much for that elaboration about the causes of cervical cancer. Doctor, how does one discover that he or she has, because it affects women.
Yes.
How does a young girl, a woman, discover that she has cervical cancer?
Very important. Very, very important. Because, you know, we have said it is the leading killer cancer in Uganda, killing a woman. So it's very important to know the signs, or what can a person base on to say, I have cancer or not. So the sign is what will show a person. In fact, this will help our viewers, each one to know that if this sign comes, I should begin thinking to go and do the testing. So the commonest or the most cardinal sign and symptom for cancer of the cervix is abnormal bleeding. Now, like Mr. Moderator, you are aware that our ladies, every month they go in periods. So every month they bleed. That is normal bleeding. That one is expected. And a lady who does not get into periods, who does not bleed at the end of the month, either has a problem or there is something wrong. So they bleed every month. That's normal bleeding. But what am I trying to mean by abnormal bleeding? This is bleeding in between periods. The person has finished her periods now. We expect the next period after some time, but in the middle of the year, she gets 1 day of bleeding and it goes away. And she doesn't know what has caused it. And also bleeding may be after sexual intercourse. We don't expect any bleeding after sexual intercourse because it's a normal process. But when a person sees blood bleeds after intercourse, it is a red flag. A person should get worried, should begin thinking, where is this blood coming from? What is causing me to bleed? So it is a very, very, very important sign for a person to say, I should go and check for this cancer of the cervix. 2, painful sexual intercourse. It is also one of the signs of cancer of the cervix. So our viewers, if you feel pain having sex, you should not take it just for granted. You should go to hospital and seek medical advice. Then maybe 3, others can have lower back pain. A person has pain in the back. She's not lifting heavy loads because most ladies don't lift these heavy loads. But the person feels lower back pain all the time and they don't know where it's coming from. It's also one of the signs. And also another important point is unexplained loss of body weight. Unexplained. Because, you know, there are very many causes of loss of body weight. Maybe a person is not eating. Maybe like our friends, the Muslims, Mr. Moderator, you are fasting during Ramadan, and your amount of food intake has reduced per day. You can lose some weight. That one is explainable, understandable. Maybe a person has been overstressed. A person can lose weight. But where none of the above is applied, the person is not fasting, is eating normally, there's nothing happening, she feels no disease, but daily the weight is reducing, that should raise the red flag for the person to go and seek medical attention. Because all cancers reduce the body weight. Cancer of the cervix inclusive reduces body weight. So that is very important when a person sees those signs I've mentioned above to seek medical attention.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for that elaborative discussion. Dear viewers, if you have just joined us, you are watching MTA Africa, reaching all the corners of the earth, and we are talking about cervical cancer. If you have questions, comments, and of course supplements, you can contact us on www.mta.tv, and also you can email us at africa@mta.tv. Doctor, you have talked about several causes of cancer and of course the signs and symptoms. How can one, or what can one do to prevent herself from this disease?
In the medical field, we say like this: the first preventive measure of all diseases is early detection and management. Whether be any type of cancer, anything, any disease, early detection and management is very, very important in preventing it. And if all of us can adopt that, I'm sure we can do away with most of these diseases which are disturbing us. Now, in this cancer of the cervix, we do screening in early detection. Like I always say, Africans will have that challenge of going to hospital when we are sick, badly sick. And you see, in the signs and symptoms, I talked about bleeding, abnormal bleeding in a lady. So some ladies, sorry to say, especially our African ladies, they may see it once, twice, thrice, and say, that one will go by itself. Let me not bother going to spend money. Because we are so mean with our money. We want to use our money in buying clothes, buying shoes, buying other things. We don't want to go to spend our money in screening for ourselves. But it is very important among the preventive measures to do early screening and detection, and then the subsequent management of the cancer.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, screening is very, very important. And what if a person, those who have already contracted this disease, they might be hopeless? Is there a possibility that these people can get cured from the disease? And what is the treatment of the disease, cervical cancer?
Thank you once again. Now, I will keep repeating this for our viewers to understand it. Prevention is better than cure. Early detection and management of disease is the way to go. Now, in the cancer of the cervix in particular, once it is detected early, in early stages, it can be cured. Because in the cancer staging, there's what you call precancerous stage. It has not become cancerous, but it's tending to becoming cancerous. In that stage, once it is detected on cancer screening, the person can become cured very well. Therefore, I urge us to do that as much as we can to prevent it from going into severe stages. Because the truth of the matter is, once cancer of the cervix has gone into the severe state, then it is not curable. it is manageable but not curable. What am I trying to mean? We can treat a person and the person becomes fine. We treat the symptoms, but the cancer, the prognosis is not a good one. What I mean is this: it cannot be cured if it is in severe stages. Therefore, I encourage again early detection and management.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Dear viewers, we are discussing cervical cancer, and one of the prevention measures or preventing measures that doctor has suggested is that early detection of the disease. If the disease is detected earlier, then there is a chance that you can be cured. And here he has emphasized the issue of medical checkup is very, very important. Doctor, as we continue, how you've talked about screening or medical checkup, how often should one screen for cervical cancer?
Yes, thank you. Before I got that question, actually, I'm sorry for you asked the question in the previous one that preventing it and how it is treated. Now, I want to answer this both at a go.
Yes, let's start with how it is treated.
Yes, thank you. In treating cancer, there are three major ways of treating cancer. The first one is called chemotherapy. Chemotherapy, therapy means treatment in the common term. Chemo comes from using the medicines, putting medicines either by a cannula or in the IV or swallowing. Those medicines go and attack the cancerous cells and kill them off. So we can give chemotherapy treatment by the chemotherapeutic drugs in the vein or in the mouth. That is number one. Now, number two, there's what is called radiotherapy. Now, radiotherapy, like you had chemotherapy, therapy means treatment. Now, radiotherapy is treatment by using radioactive waves to kill those cancerous cells. A person or the part which has the cancer is subjected to those waves and it kills the cancerous cells. So it is radiotherapy. I may not go into the details of it, but that's how we treat cancer. Now, the third method of treating cancer is called surgery or surgical intervention. For example, if a person has cancer of this finger, now, Mr. Moderator, to make it more understandable for you.
Yes.
Say a person has cancer of this finger, and we have done the necessary tests, and we find out that this cancer has not reached this side here. And like we know, cancer moves the whole body. In my explanation of cancer of the cervix, I said it is the cancer which begins from the cervix, meaning it can continue to move the whole body. Now, say if the cancer is only in this part and hasn't reached this side, we as the medical experts can decide to do surgery and we cut it off. So that's called the surgical intervention. You have had many ladies whose breasts were cut off. That is a medical intervention.
So the cervical cancer can also be, surgery can be done?
Yes, it can be done. They can go and do what they call hysterectomy. They remove to prevent.
They remove the cervix?
Yes.
To prevent it from spreading?
Yes, plus the surrounding areas to prevent it from spreading. However, it is not that they do only one intervention. We may do two, or we may do all the three, or we may do one, depending on where the part is. Okay.
Doctor, how often should one, as you know, time is not on our side,
yes.
How often should one go for a cervical cancer screening?
Thank you so much. Very important. Now, a person who is not immunosuppressed Immunosuppression, like we said, means having low immunity. We are advised to go for, we are advised to go for screening at least even after 5 years. Now, the word at least means the person should not exceed 5 years without going for cancer screening. Those are ladies in sexual active stages. Now, for our friends who are immunosuppressed, say a person a person living with HIV/AIDS, we would encourage you to go for cancer screening at least once a year, in every year, to go and see how you are. Because we said those who have low immunity, they are at high chances, high risk of getting this cancer of the cervix.
Thank you very much. Doctor, time is not on our side.
Yeah.
Just in 3 seconds, say your last remarks to the viewers.
Oh, thank you. Dear viewers, as we wind up, I want to encourage routine cervical cancer screening. It is not very expensive, but it is very important for your lives. Avoid multiple sexual partners. It is very, very risky. Avoid early sexual activities for our girls. Stay safe and stay healthy. Cancer of the cervix is dangerous, is increasing, but together we can join hands and fight this and prevent this. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Katurinda Baker from Life Embassy Medical Hospital. Thank you very much. Dear viewers, that is all time could allow us to have. We hope to meet you again in another episode of Healthy Check. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all.